Alright, hello everyone. This is my second BlendSpace Next review in light of recent changes that have been made. So we'll start on the home screen here and take a look at some of the changes. There's a All Lessons tab that has been added that allows access to all of the lessons across all classes. I'm going to go over some of the pros and cons of this. Some of the pros. This allows an instructor who is teaching multiple classes to access all lessons in one place. So you'll see all of the lessons here are now in one place. And you can still look at just the lessons in each one of your classes. Or you can look at it in all in one place. This option now makes it possible, or perhaps easier or more apparent, to move lessons between classes. So for example, if I want to take this Detroit lesson and put it into the MVU Demo 3 class, I can do that. And how you'll know which class each lesson belongs to is there have been tags that have been added here to each lesson, and they designate which class or classes they are contained within. And the instructor can remove tags simply by clicking the X. Additionally, lessons can be added to one or multiple courses through drag and drop methods. So they can be in multiple classes at once. Lessons can be added through this All Lessons tab directly. So lessons can be added and they can be added without even being assigned to a class right away. So if teachers want to create a lesson and add it to a class later, they can do it in that order. So some of the cons. When you're in the All Lessons tab and you scroll over the lessons, all you will get is an edit or delete option. In order to get to the tracking options for students, you must be in the specific class. So this is something where when I initially got into this early, I was really confused on how to access the tracking options because I was in the All Lessons tab. I mean, I understand why tracking wouldn't be available when you're in the All Lessons, just in case it was in multiple classes and rosters overlaid each other. But I could see that this could be a confusing thing for teachers who wanted to track student progress on each lesson. Another feature that's been added is this School Lessons tab, that when you click on it, it allows access to other lessons that have been created by all the instructors within the organization that the instructor is a member of. It essentially is acting as an internal within the organization, an internal learning object repository. Some of the pros and cons of this. The pros. It allows instructors to see what their colleagues have been working on, perhaps even inspiring their own work. It also allows instructors to copy the lesson, modify it in any way that they see fit, and then it is added to their lesson collection here and can be added to their own classes. So teachers can share and modify each other's lessons this way. Some cons. There's no apparent way to mark lessons as a draft or otherwise make it non-visible to the community. Especially while building these concepts, I personally, and I know many other instructors, would like to keep them private. So if there's some way that an option can be built in to allow for privacy of lessons until they're completed, a draft and a final version. Alright, so now we're going to take a look under the hood at some additional tracking options that have been added. So here is the real-time tracking that we've already seen before, but something that's been added in a recent update is this class mastery view. So let's take a look at this for a second. You'll see each step of the lesson, and you'll see these blocks, these different colored blocks. And these are designed to show the progression of your students through each step of the lesson. So all of these green boxes indicate students that have mastered the concept. They've completed everything. They know what they need to know. These yellow boxes indicate that students are almost complete with the activity. Any orange would indicate struggling students, and then the gray boxes are students that have not completed this yet. They have not started it yet. So when you click on each color, it will show you the students that are in that situation. So students that are in green, you know, are progressing and have finished what they need to do. And then you can focus your time on helping those that are almost complete, and especially those that are struggling. Alright, so let's back up a step and take a look at some of the sign-up options. So here's the sign-in screen to BlendSpace. And what has been added are a couple of options. Students and teachers have the option to create a new account with BlendSpace, or they can sign up via their Google account as well. So they can sign up in these two different ways. Teacher sign up requires a name, email, school code, and a password in order to sign up. So the critical thing here would be a school code that each instructor would get, but each teacher can create their own account. On the student side of things, students only need to provide their name, an optional email address field, and a password. So really the only mandatory fields for students is providing their name and creating a password. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at the process for a student to join a class. So in order to join a class, once a student is logged in, they'll click on the left-hand side here where it says join class, and then they're going to be able to enter in a class code. Now the instructor, from their own interface, is going to have the class code in the upper right-hand corner just below the profile information here. So the class code here can be taken and given to the student to type in. Then they simply click join, and they will have instant access to the course. So some pros about this. The class code model is great for ease of access to courses. Teachers need only to get a school code from an administrator or whoever is in charge of the BlendSpace Next within their organization, and then they can take care of creating their account themselves. Once teachers have successfully created their accounts, walking students through account creation will be a breeze. Remember, all they need is their name and a password to sign up initially. Then they just need to input the course code once they're in, and then they're ready to go. Giving the teacher and students executive control over account creation will eliminate delays in learning. In an alternative model where only admins can create new accounts, new additions or changes to class rosters could leave a student without an account for a period of time, a couple of days, perhaps even a week. This puts the ball in the teacher's court, which I and teachers alike will appreciate. Some cons of this model. There's a bit of a lack of security, and here's why. Creating a student account requires no validation of email address because it does not require that an email address is provided. Students gain instant access to courses upon successfully entering the class code. Adding a gatekeeper option here, which requires teacher approval to join a class, would be a nice feature to limit enrollees that the teacher does not want to be a member of the class or access the information. Once the class code is given in this model, who knows who could get their hands on it? The logic for having additional security options is that if a resource happens to capture student identity info, such as if a teacher put a discussion board in one of the resources, or a wiki in one of the resources. That could potentially be exposed to someone who happened to get the class code. While BlendSpace Next itself does not contain a lot of elements that allow students' identities to be made public, obviously when you're having a resource collection device like BlendSpace Next, you could be bringing in potentially sensitive material that you wouldn't want for public consumption. I can see this going two ways. On one hand, we want to promote as little roadblocks to learning as possible, but I think building in this option would offer appreciated customization for schools and organizations. Something that I noticed is that it's really easy to remove students from your class roster. So let's go back to the teacher view here. It's really, really easy to remove students from your class roster just by clicking X. I'm wondering if a safeguard should be put in asking teachers if they really want to delete a student to avoid accidental removal. I could see just one click on the X here being something that could be an accident. Rejoining a class is simple enough, but if a student's at home and does not recall or have access to the class code, this could derail learning for an undesired amount of time. So this has been an update review on the new features that have been added to BlendSpace Next, and I would love to know your thoughts. Thanks.